Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Zoe and I make motherhood and lifestyle videos, and today's video is going to be an EC update. So if you don't know what EC is, definitely don't watch this video straight up. Go and watch my video on elimination communication. I've linked it below. Go ahead and watch that. So EC stands for elimination communication, and this video I'm going to be talking about the first 12 months of doing EC. Well, I started when Nate was 5 months. But he's now 12 months. So I've done it for 7 months plus. So I just wanted to, give you guys an update on how that has all been, and things that we've been through, the highs and lows of it all, things to expect if you're wondering if you should be doing it with your child, if that's going to work for your family. I'll show you some of the products that I use, and just talk about, the frequently asked questions that I get a lot when it comes to the EC topic, and just really share my experience. So, as I said, Nate was 5 months when he started, and he is now 12 months. So we've been through a lot of different stages with EC, and I'm going to talk about all the different things that we went through. But first, I want to show you guys what products I use and what you might need to do EC. Now, before I get into it though, this video, as I said, it's not an intro to EC or anything like that. If you want to know what elimination communication is and why you would do it and whatnot, watch the video that I've linked below. This video will not be explaining the basics of EC, so you do really need to know what I'm talking about to start with if you're watching this video. Now I'm going to show you guys the potty that I use. So if you do potty training or EC with a baby who is younger than 2 years, it's recommended to use a potty. If they're over 2 years, then you can definitely skip the potty and just go straight to using a toilet, or even a toilet with like a little insert. But we've used the potty because, of course, Nate started at 5 months, so he was like way too little to sit on potty. He wasn't sitting assisted at 5 months, maybe a little bit, I can't really remember. I think he would have been pretty wobbly. So we've been using a potty. This is the one that we have. It is the Dream Baby brand, and it is a 2-piece potty. So basically, he sits on it like that. When he is done, I take this insert out and I will dump that into the toilet, and the base will just sit there. I'll wash this. It makes it a bit smaller and easier to wash, and it's nice and comfy for him, and it's like a little bit high up as well. I really like this brand. Now when it comes to potties, you really don't want something with bells and whistles. You just want something basic. You want something that's really easy to clean, something that's comfortable for your child. That's all. It's super basic. They're just sitting on it to do their number ones and number twos. You don't need something fancy, and you can get toilets that like light up and make like flushing sounds and all that sort of stuff. Do what you want and buy what you want, but you don't need it. Definitely not. I also wanted to show you guys this toilet insert. So this sits on the toilet and it makes like the seat smaller. So that when you do feel comfortable putting your child on the toilet, they are going to feel a bit more comfortable and they're not going to fall in. This particular one also has these little like handles that the baby or toddler can hold onto, just to help them feel a bit more comfortable. So that is what we use. We've only just started using this. We've only just purchased it now that Nate's a toddler, but when he was a baby before 12 months, we only used the potty. Okay, so what have we experienced these last 7 months? So from the very beginning, he did so well. I was so shocked and amazed at how well he did. Pretty much straight away, he just only pooed in the potty. And I think for months he pooed in the potty until maybe he had his first like poo accident. Yeah, it was just amazing. Like, I just did not expect that at all. I was sort of like, let's just try this. Let's see what happens. I've learnt this new cool thing. Let's give it a go. And I was expecting to maybe for it not to work and just go back to using nappies as usual. But it worked so well. Nate was so positive about it and he seemed to enjoy it. and he just wouldn't go with his nappy. So I was like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now. For Wheeze, at the start, Wheeze really frustrated me because I just didn't know when to take him. I didn't know his cues. Even now, like, I do a timing thing for him, but cues for Wing he just doesn't really give them. I think he's just so distracted playing, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm weeing, and then that's it. Whereas Apu, he definitely always tells us if he needs to go. So yeah, at the beginning I just didn't know when to take him. I think I was taking him way too often, and then I'd not take him as often. I wouldn't take him often enough, and I just couldn't, like, I just didn't know what I was doing. But Poos are great with them. So we just continued going, and I just tried different things. And then I learned that there's a thing called bladder size, and it's really important if you're potty training, is to know the bladder size of your child. So every child is so different. Some toddlers or babies have a bladder size of like every 20 minutes they need to go and do a wee, and then some are like every 2 hours, and that's fine for them. So you just need to, I guess, learn the size of your child's bladder so that you're not taking them too often and discouraging them with it, and you're not, and you are taking them often enough. So once I learnt that his bladder size, every hour, so in the morning and then towards the afternoon, for all children, it does become, they don't go as often in the afternoon because they're not as hydrated as the morning, just like us adults are the same. Afternoon would be like every maybe up to an hour and a half. He usually wouldn't hold it more than that, maybe an hour 15, hour and a half, something like that. And that's what I have found for him pretty much all the time, unless he's maybe just had a big drink of milk or something, then he may go a bit more frequently. But that's what I have found for him. And of course that's him. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, oh, I'm just going to do every hour, that's when I'm taking him to the potty, and that doesn't work for you, it's probably because your child has a different bladder size to my child, and that's absolutely fine. Just play around with it and find their bladder size. So yeah, that made things a lot better, and I wasn't as frustrated because I understood what he was doing and what he needed. And then, so yeah, all that was going really well. And then we went through our first potty regression. I think it happened when he could like stand up on his own. And right before this, actually, he was going so well on the potty. He legit, there was one day actually, a full 24 hours in the same nappy. No changes it was bone dry, this nappy. And this was around the time where he was just waking up completely dry, and I wasn't even taking him overnight. I don't do EC overnight. I don't have time for that unless he's fussing. Then I'll take him to the toilet, but overnight, if he wakes up, I just feed him and we go back to sleep. That's it. And yeah, he usually he'll maybe have a 1 or 2 wees overnight, and then he'll hold his morning wee and do that really big morning wee on the potty. So I was totally happy and fine with that. But there were definitely some mornings there where he woke up and his nappy was just bone dry, and I don't know how he held it for 12 hours, but he did. And then he would do the biggest wee when he woke up. So that was really cool. So like that would happen, and then all day I would catch every single wee on the potty. And even at times where I'm like, oh, it's been so long and oh, he's probably done a wee. No, he held it. So that was just amazing. And I think he was 9 or 10 months old around this time. And I was thinking, wow, like he's going to be out of nappies so soon. He's basically potty trained. And then he went through the regression. So potty regressions are so normal. Regressions with anything with babies is normal. So sleep regressions, feeding regressions, 1 minute they love solids, next minute they hate it and they love milk. 1 minute they're sleeping great, next minute they're not. Like there's so many things that cause these regressions, like teething and sickness and them learning new skills, and just being like overwhelmed. There's so much going on. There's so many changes for them. And Potty is exactly the same. So just when I thought he was like practically potty trained, he went through this regression, and this regression was like he did not want to go on the potty. I put him on and he would just whinge and try to like squirm away, and he just wanted to get up and walk, I guess, and practice his walking. He was a very early walker. And then what frustrated me is like he wouldn't sit on the potty, and then he'd get up, walk a couple of steps, and I'd be getting his nappy together and his pants ready to put them on him, and he would do a wee on the floor, like right in front of me, right when I tried to put him on the potty. So it was really frustrating. But around that time, I actually joined that EC support group, and I read loads of stories from the parents that had been through these potty regressions, and they sounded exactly the same as my story. So I found out that that's actually normal, and to just push through. Some parents I read stories of that their child did go through a potty regression, and they thought maybe that's it's just too hard, and they stopped, and like the regression only lasts a couple of days, so it's not a big deal. But they stopped EC altogether for like a month, and then they tried it again to see what would happen, and the child just wouldn't have a bar of it. Maybe because they were like a toddler by then, and they were a bit older, and they were just set in their ways using their nappy now. And these parents completely regretted doing that. So if you experience a regression, just push through. It does not last very long. When you're in it, it feels like it lasts forever, but it only lasts a couple of days. So he did get better after that. I think that lasted for like a week though. It was a long regression. And then he would sit on the potty again, but after that time, we just missed loads of wees, and some wees we'd get in the potty, some would go in his nappy. And it hasn't really been the same since. Like, he hasn't had a full 24 hours where his nappy's been bone dry. Unfortunately, he's now 12 and a half months. Yeah, I don't know if that will happen again. That was a really nice time. So we'll see. We'll keep pushing through. But yeah, right now at 12 months, I had this idea that I thought I would try underwear. So I had heard that with potty training, and I remember EC is not potty training, it's totally different. And some people who do EC might just do it for like the first year or the first year and a half, and then they move on to do formal potty training. Lots of parents who do EC though don't do potty training, and their child like naturally becomes potty trained just through EC. But for me, I really wanted to try him in underwear. I had listened to this podcast on potty training from this like child specialist who was like a pro at potty training. And she was explaining that you need them to be in underwear, or maybe just pants or whatever, so that they feel the wetness on them. If they're in a nappy and they're weeing into that, a lot of the time they don't even recognize that they're doing it. It just happens. They just keep playing. They don't acknowledge it at all. But if they go in their pants, they feel uncomfortable and they feel wet, and they realize that happens when they do their wee and they don't want to do it there. They want to go in the potty. So my husband and I went out and checked out the kids' clothes and looked at the undies to see what sizes they had, because obviously 12 months old, very tiny, right? So we had a look, and they had underwear in size 1 to 2. That was the sizes that we got. So we got a whole pack of them. I think we have like 10 pairs of underwear, and then we also purchased like 5 new pairs of pants. So it's like these cheap, thin sort of pants. It's winter here though, so they're like long, warm enough for inside. And my goal was to just do it at home, to be nappy free at home, just undies and pants. Just on days that I'm with him during the day, not during naps or anything. And I'm not planning to do formal potty training right now, but I do want to cut back on nappy use, although we don't use many nappies at all anymore. I just wanted to give it a go and see if that would help, him to stay dry more. As I said, poos weren't really an issue for us. It was more the wheeze. And he does so many, like he's going every hour or so throughout the day. So, it really adds up. So we've done that now a few times. We had a bit of a break this last week. He's been sick. So we have not done any undies this last week. We've just done nappies, and he had to go on antibiotics, which like caused some issues in his belly. He's had some tummy issues, and he's been doing a lot of poos, a lot of eliminations. So we've just done nappies. But yeah, tomorrow I'm going to try undies again. So yeah, we've only done it for like 2 weeks. So it's still very fresh, and I hope to do an update video when there is an update to share. So I'll just see how we go. But I think it went pretty well. You know, I put him in undies and pants, and I put the potty out for him. And there were times where he doesn't know how to pull his pants down yet because he's only 12 months old. But if I did have his pants down and off, he would go over and sit on the potty himself and go, which was really cool, but not always. Sometimes he would go on the floor, or if he had his pants on, sometimes he would wet them. But he acknowledged it straight away. As soon as he went, he would look down at himself and he'd like grab at his pants and make his like grunting noise that he makes to communicate with me, like telling me, hey, like I'm wet, and he would sort of tell me. And if I didn't want to change it straight away because I really wanted him to get it. I didn't make him wear like wet pants all day. It was like 5 minutes. But yeah, he would be playing, and then he'd stop and grab at himself again. And like, you should just tell he just didn't like it. He was so uncomfortable. And then I would explain to him in very positive way. And it's really important not to get frustrated, because you want them to think it's a positive experience. You don't want them holding it because they think it's like a bad thing to do. But in a positive way, I'd say, oh, look, you're wet, you know, your wee's go in the potty. And I might even sit him on the potty just for like a couple seconds so he realizes and like makes a connection. And yeah, then I would, you know, take his pants off and give him new ones. Yeah, so that's what we've done so far. And obviously overnight for naps, he's wearing nappies. If he's at daycare, he's in nappies. If we're going out bat, he's also in nappies. So we're just going to go really slowly and see how we go. And my goal is by 18 months to be completely nappy free, potty trained and whatnot, including hopefully overnight. I don't know if that's ambitious or not. I know like if you're not doing EC, that's very ambitious, but for EC, parents who do EC, that is quite normal. It's quite a normal age to be out of nappies. So we'll just see how we go. And I think if he isn't like potty trained from EC by 18 months, I definitely would like to try formal potty training to really like, yeah, finish this whole process off. I'm so keen to be completely out of nappies. They're so expensive and not great for the environment and whatnot. So we do a mixture of disposable nappies and cloth nappies. Cloth nappies do work really well with EC because they can feel like the wetness a bit more than disposables. But lately I have not been using as many cloth nappies as I used to. They were really great when he was younger and he would lay down for his nappy changes. But now that he wants to run around and walk and stand and whatnot, he does not like lying down. He hates nappy changes. He whinges and cries. I have to distract him with like everything under the sun just to change his nappy for 2 seconds. We've changed completely to pull-ups. So he is in pull-ups pretty much all day. And then for his 1 or 2 naps that he has now, he is then in a cloth nappy. So I do put him down, lay him down for that. He's pretty tired, so he's pretty happy to lay down before a nap, and I put him in a cloth nappy, and that's the only time that we're using them now. So yeah, I just found that it's just so much easier, especially putting him on a potty every hour. Before going to pull-ups, I had to lay him down and, you know, take his pants off, take his nappy off, put him on the potty, then lay him back down, put his nappy back on and all that. And when he got to the point where he was like whinging and complaining, it just got so hard. And it got to the point where I was like, maybe I should just stop doing this potty thing. It's just hard. Like having this battle with him a million times a day. As soon as we switched to pull-ups, it completely changed. It was like between night and day. So now when he needs to go potty, I literally just hold his pants and his like pull them both down to his ankles and just sit him on the potty. He goes, he stands up, and I pull them both back up. That's it. It is so quick. He doesn't whinge or moan, and it's great. Yeah. So I would definitely recommend, if your child, if it's like becoming a pain to lay them down and change them and they're getting like really squirmy and hating it, I would definitely recommend switching over to pull-ups because they really make a whole lot of difference. So that's pretty much it. That is the update. That's where we're at 12 months in. 12 months old, and he's been doing EC since 5 months old, so 7 months into the whole EC method. I've loved it. There has been definitely some lows, but definitely lots of highs. And as I said, I'm definitely doing EC from the start with our next child. I'll be doing it from birth, well, as soon as I possibly can, like after I recover maybe. But I'll be doing it, yeah, straight away. I just think it has been really great. It's been really good to see Nate listen to his body and I don't know, I guess just like learn how to do it like the proper way. And then just the fact that I don't have to worry about dirty nappies has been really great. I just don't change dirty nappies anymore. It's just a thing we haven't really done since he was 5 months, apart from like a couple of times where he may have missed the potty. But yeah, we've just the fact that like he has been pretty much poo trained from the start is awesome. And we're still working on wheeze, but it's great that I now know his bladder size and I know when to put him on the potty, so I'm not putting him on, you know, too often. I'm definitely putting him on often enough. Now getting to the point where he can sit down by himself, but he still doesn't know how to pull his pants down yet. So I think when he gets a bit older and he learns to do that and communicate a bit better, once he's like talking, he's saying a couple of words, but he can't say potty unless he's trying to and saying something. I just don't know what he's saying. Yeah, that I think that will make it a lot easier when he can actually pull his pants down, sit down himself, or he can say like, hey, I need to go potty. Obviously not in that sentence, but if he can say potty or I don't know, pot or something. I don't know what's easier for kids to say. We'll see. Yeah, I think that'll make it a lot easier. And yeah, I'm just going to keep going with the undies on the days that we're home because I don't mind throwing a couple of, you know, extra undies in the wash. Not a big deal really for me. And yeah, we'll see if that helps him to understand that he is going and that goes in the potty. We'll see what happens. I'm really excited to give you guys an update, you know, in a couple months time. And yeah, if you guys have any questions on EC or want to know more about my methods at home and what I do with my son, feel free to write your questions in the comments below. And if you have your own experience or maybe some tips for me, maybe you have some like wee tips and how to help them to go on the potty, then please also write them in the comments below. I love to hear them. I love some tips. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up and please make sure you hit subscribe if you want to see videos very similar to this one.